Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see the next chapter of R. Lakshmikant. Today we are going to discuss one of the important topic in the judiciary, that is judicial review. So this topic, it is very important regarding mains point of view. So before getting into this topic, let us see some of the introduction regarding this judicial review. So this doctrine of judicial review, which was originated and as well as developed in USA. So if you see in the context of India, there are some provisions of our Indian Constitution which talks about the judicial review on the judiciary, mainly regarding the power of the judicial review to the Supreme Court as well as High Court. So to understand this, where exactly this judicial review which is present in our Constitution, so we need to go back to the chapter of fundamental rights. So if you see these fundamental rights, they are mainly present in the part 3 of Indian Constitution, and from article 12 to article 35 of Indian Constitution talks about this fundamental rights. So why the name which is given, that is a fundamental to the fundamental rights here. So if you want to understand why it is a fundamental here, so there are two important reasons. Because of these rights which are given, they are called as a fundamental rights. The first important reason here is, if you see the Constitution of India, which is a fundamental law of land. As we know, our Constitution of India, which is a fundamental law of land, and it is guaranteeing this fundamental rights. That is our Constitution of India, which is guaranteeing these fundamental rights. So those are called as this fundamental rights. Because of this, the name which is fundamental, which is given before that rights. And the second important reason why they are called as fundamental, because these are fundamental and very basics for the existence of life. So because of these two reasons, the fundamental word which is used before these rights, which are enshrined in the part 3 of our Indian Constitution, and the articles from article 12 to article 35, which talks about the fundamental rights here. So if you see, these fundamental rights which are guaranteed by the Constitution of India, but against whom? Against individual? No, it is against the state. So against the state, these fundamental rights which are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. So what is the state includes? So if you see the article 12, that is the first article of fundamental rights, that is article 12, which talks about what is a state, which all or comes under the state. So this state include, we can say, the government of India as well as the Parliament of India, and the state governments, state legislature, as well as the local authorities, and also other authorities within the territory of India, and also which have the control of government of India, those all which are included under this state. So whenever this government of India or parliament or state governments or the local governments or the state legislature, whenever they are violating these fundamental rights, we can go to the Supreme Court directly. Correct? So now let us see the article 13 of Indian Constitution. So what is this article 13 states? So if you see the article 13, which gives the what is not a law. That means the negative statement of law which is given in this article 13 of Indian Constitution. So if you see, article 13 mainly says that state shall not make any law which abridges or which violates or which contravenes the rights which are enshrined in the part 3 of Indian Constitution. So it is saying that the limitations of the state here, that means the state shall not come up with any law, any order or any act which is abridging the fundamental rights which are enshrined in the part 3 of Indian Constitution. But what happens whenever the state which comes up with the law or any order or any act which is violating the fundamental rights? So whenever the state which is coming up with any law or any order or any act which is violating the fundamental rights of the citizens, then the power which is given to the Supreme Court or the High Court to look into that law, whether it is a good law or not. If at all it is not according to the constitutional provisions, then that law will made as a null and void. So this power of the judiciary, that is Supreme Court and the High Court, have the power to make any law which is null and void. If at all it is not following the constitutional provisions, then this is called as a power of judicial review. So in this way we can say Article 13 of Indian Constitution mainly talks about the definition of law, that is a negative definition of law, and as well as the power of judicial review. So not only this Article 13, there are number of constitutional provisions which are talking about the judicial review in our constitution. But one important thing that you should note here is the phrase judicial review, which does not use directly in our constitution. But there are number of provisions like Article 13, Article 131, 132, 133, 134, 134A, and also 226, so and so. There are many number of articles which are talking about the constitutional provisions of the judicial review in our constitution. But the word judicial review, which is not written anywhere in our constitution. So this point will be very important for prelims. So this is some of the introduction regarding this judicial review. And now let us see what is written in our Lakshmikant. If you see in India, the constitution itself confers the power of judicial review on judiciary. So this power will be given to both the Supreme Court and as well as the High Court here. And Supreme Court have the power to declare any law which is not according to the constitutional provision, that is null and void. So this power, it is called as a judicial review. If you see here, Supreme Court has declared the power of judicial review, which is a basic feature of Indian Constitution, or it is also included in the element of the basic structure of Constitution, such that we cannot abridge this or we cannot take away this judicial review even through the constitutional amendment as well. And if you see what is the meaning of judicial review, we also discussed in the introduction regarding what is the meaning of judicial review very clearly. And now let us see what is written in the Lakshmikant. If you see this judicial review, it is a power of the judiciary to examine the constitutionality of legislative enactments and also executive orders of both center and the state governments. So whether it may be the state government or whether it may be the central government, whether it is coming with any act, any order or any law, whether it is according to our constitutional provisions or not. So if at all it is according to the constitutional provisions, it is good, it is well. But if it is not according to our constitutional provisions, then the power which is given to the judiciary, that is to the Supreme Court and as well as High Court, to make that such a law null and void and unconstitutional. So this is the exact meaning of judicial review. And if you see here, it says that on examination, whenever the judiciary which found it is violative of the constitution, then we can make it as a null and void. So let us see the classification of this judicial review. So this judicial review can be classified into three categories. The first one is judicial review of constitutional amendments. Next one is judicial review of legislation of parliament or the state legislature and also the subordinate legislatures. And the third important one is judicial review of administrative action of union and also state authorities. So these are the three types or the three categories of the judicial review that can be seen. And now let us see further. Here Supreme Court used the power of judicial review in various cases. So these are some important cases which are listed here. So whenever you are writing the mains answer, this will be very helpful. So if you see some of those cases that include the Golaknath case of 1967 and bank nationalization case of 1970 and as well as Privy Purse abolition case of 1971, Keshwanand Bharti case of 1973, and the date of the judgment of this Keshwanand Bharti, it is very important in the judicial review. The date here is 24th April 1973. You have to remember this date. So why I am saying it is important, at the end of the lecture you will come to know, don't worry. And if you see, in 2015, Supreme Court also declared 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, which talks about the NJAC Act, as null and void. Now let us see what is the importance of the judicial review. The first one is why this judicial review is important. Because mainly to uphold the principles of supremacy of Constitution. As we know, this Constitution, it is a fundamental law and it is called as a lex rex as well. So because of this, it is our responsibility to keep the supremacy of the Constitution. So in this way, judicial review, it is very, very important, because this judicial review will give the power to the judiciary mainly to look into any act or any order or any law which come up by both the state governments as well as union government, whether they are according to the provisions of the Constitution or not. And the next one is to maintain the federal equilibrium, that is a balance between the center as well as the state. This judicial review is also important. And the next one is to protect the fundamental rights of the citizens. So whenever the fundamental rights which are guaranteed by the fundamental law of land, that is Indian Constitution, then whenever state which is coming up with any act, any order or any law which is abridging or violating or contravening with these fundamental rights, then it is the power of the judiciary, that is to make that such a law or such a act or such a order that is null and void. So because of three important things, this judicial review, it is very, very important. Now let us see the constitutional provisions of the judicial review. As I said earlier, this phrase, that is judicial review, which is not written in anywhere in our Constitution, but there are some articles or the provisions which talks about the judicial review. The first one is Article 13, we detailedly discussed, and this Article 13 mainly talks about the negative definition of law. And the next one is Article 32, it is also fundamental right. If at all any fundamental right of the citizen which is abridged or violated or contravened, then that person can move directly to the Supreme Court. So this Article 32 mainly talks about the 5 types of the writs. Okay. And next one is Article 31, which talks about the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Article 132, Article 133 and Article 134, which talks about the appellate jurisdiction in the case of criminal cases, civil cases, etc. And the next one is Article 134 to 134A. It mainly talks about the certificate which is given by the High Court, mainly to make appeal in the Supreme Court. And if you see, there is Article 135, which talks about the power of Supreme Court to look into the pre-constitutional cases. And Article 136 mainly talks about the special leave petition. Article 143 talks about the advisory jurisdiction. And Article 226 talks about the writ power of High Court. And also there are other articles like 227, 245, 246, 251 and 254, as well as Article 372. They are also talking about some of the provisions in our Constitution regarding the judicial review. And now let us see about the scope of judicial review. So if you see the constitutional validity of legislative enactment or an executive order that can be challenged in the Supreme Court, also in the High Courts, mainly in the 3 important grounds. Whenever there is an infringement or violation or abridgment or contravention of the fundamental rights of citizens. And the next one is whenever there is a outside the competence of authority which had framed it. So it means it is beyond the limits of the legislation of the government. Then in that case also we can have this judicial review. And as well as whenever there is a repugnance of constitutional provisions. So in these 3 grounds there is a scope of judicial review. Now let us see the judicial review of the 9th schedule. So this 9th schedule which is not present in our original Constitution. So this ninth schedule, which is added to our constitution mainly to the first Constitutional Amendment Act of 1951. So this is some important thing that should remember here. So if you see what is the relationship between the ninth schedule. So this ninth schedule, which is not present in our original constitution, it is added mainly by the amendment, that is the first Constitutional Amendment Act of 1951. So if you remember this ninth schedule, one article that you should keep in mind here is Article 31B. So if you see this Article 31B, which mainly saves some acts and regulations which are included in this ninth schedule, and they are not being challenged on the grounds that they are violating the fundamental rights. So this ninth schedule mainly introduced by the government, mainly to bring some land reforms and also abolition of the Zamindari system in the country. So what happened, they also came up with this Article 31B, and this Article 31B mainly saves some of the rights, some of the regulations, some of the acts which are included in the ninth schedule, and this ninth schedule which is being challenged or which is invalidated on the grounds of the contravention of any fundamental rights here. And if you see this Article 31B, which is also not present in our original constitution. So this Article 31B and this ninth schedule, they are mainly added to the first Constitutional Amendment Act of 1951. So why this first Constitutional Amendment Act was added? Mainly because at that time there was some land reforms that were came up, and as well as there is challenge of abolition of the Zamindari system here. So at that time what happened, whenever the abolition of the Zamindari system and also to bring up the land reforms, there are some articles like Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, they were violated here. Mainly to make this act or regulations regarding the land reforms out of the judicial review, they came up with this first Constitutional Amendment Act, and they added Article 31B and 9th schedule to the Indian Constitution. But if you see originally, whenever this first Constitutional Amendment Act will come into the picture, that is 9th schedule, there are only 13 acts and regulations that are present. But now at present, according to 2016 records, it said that there are about 282 acts, regulations that are present in that 9th schedule now. So whenever these acts or the regulations which are placed under this 9th schedule, they will not come under the judicial review. But you have to remember one important case here, that is I.R. Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu in the year 2017. So in this case, what happened? Supreme Court gave a landmark judgment that judicial review, which is the basic structure of Indian Constitution. But whenever you are keeping some acts, some regulations under this 9th schedule, how this 9th schedule will not come under this judicial review? As we know, this judicial review, it is a basic structure of Indian Constitution, and this basic structure of Indian Constitution, this doctrine of basic structure, that evolved in the Keshwanand Bharati case of 1973. And the judgment that is came up of this Keshwanand Bharati case on 24th April 1973. So in this I.R. Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu, Supreme Court said that, so whatever the acts, whatever the laws, whatever the regulations which are kept in the 9th schedule after 24th April 1973, they will be open to the judicial review. So this is the important judgment that you should remember regarding this judicial review. So because of this I.R. Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu 2007, it is one of the landmarking case here, and it shows the retrospective effect of the law here. That means the judgment which is came up in the 2007, but this judgment of this case will be acted or will be applicable from 24th April 1973. So because of this, we can say this case is very important for the retrospective application of law. So this is some important thing here. So if you see here, finally in the judgment, it said that 9th schedule, whatever the laws which are placed under this 9th schedule after the April 24, 1973, They are open to the challenge in the court if they violated the fundamental rights which are guaranteed under Article 14, Article 15, Article 19 and Article 21 of Indian Constitution, because this judicial review, which is a basic structure of Constitution, through any constitutional amendment we cannot remove this judicial review here. So this is the important thing regarding this 9th schedule and judicial review. So these are the some important points that you should remember regarding this chapter, judicial review, and this judicial review will be very important for the mains point of view. I hope you understand this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.